Oh, we have someone that joined. We have 2 more people that joined. We have 3 people now. Hello, everybody. This is Nick from ACN, and I have some current students with me. We also have the Associate Director of Recruitment and Advising with us. That is Becky.
Hi.
We're going to give it a few more seconds and have a few more people chime in because we want to make sure that all of you guys are here in order to answer your questions. And I see people waving at us. Hello. So right now we have 9 people. That's pretty cool. 10 people? 12? Super cool. Okay, I think we'll give it a few more seconds, maybe 30 more seconds, and we'll let more people chime in and tune in so then we can start with this program. But start thinking about your questions now, because if you're planning to study here next fall, obviously May 1st is the priority deadline, so you want to send in your application, documents, everything. Online you can apply, super easy, but you have to send in your documents, and that's really important. If you're planning to study abroad here, send your questions. This will mainly be in Norwegian because our current students are Norwegians that are going to go to the US. But if you are an American or you're from another country and you have questions, start writing them. But I'm going to step back for a second. I'm going to let these 3 beautiful girls introduce themselves. We have Christina. She's from Trondheim. We have Amalie from Bergen and Vibeke from Stavanger. So we have students that study ACN from all over Norway. So I'll let these girls introduce themselves. Christina, do you want to go first?
Ja, Kristine fra Trondheim, og kom hit til ACN i høsten, og skal til UND til høsten igjen.
Ja. Amalie
Amalie fra Bergen. Begynte også på ACN i fjor høst. Jeg skal gå på UND, som er den største samarbeidsskolen til ACN.
Yes, og jeg er som fra Stavanger. Jeg skal til Minnesota, til en skole kalt St. Thomas. Det er høsten nå. Så vi gleder oss veldig mye til å dra til USA.
I think I'm going to throw some questions at you girls now to get the conversation started. Amalia, why did you decide to come to ACN? And why didn't you just go to the USA right away?
Jeg valgte å komme til ACN fordi at det gjorde hele opplevelsen litt lettere for meg. Å reise rett til USA er ikke så veldig enkelt. Det er mye forandringer du må gjennom, og det er mye nytt. Det er en veldig lang søknadsprosess. Og da å komme på ACN og få hjelp til alt dette gjorde ting mye lettere for meg da.
Christina, do you want to answer that question too?
Ja, jeg kom til ACN fordi at jeg ville ha en enklere overgang og ikke gjøre all jobben selv. Når jeg kom på ACN så har jeg fått så sykt mye hjelp til å komme til USA. Hva jeg trenger, alt av søknader, alt av fag. Hvis jeg lurer på noe så kan jeg bare spørre, og så får jeg svar på det jeg vil. Så ACN er rett og slett en mye enklere overgang enn det er å ville søkt selv.
Perfect. Thank you, Christina. And we have another student joining us. We have another student that's going to St. Thomas with Vibeke. This is Song from Halden. So we do have people from obviously the region, but we have people from all over Norway that study with us. Do you want to introduce yourself quick?
You kind of said it all.
Okay. Do you want to answer that question though, why you decided to come to ACN and not to the USA right away?
Norsk?
Yeah, norsk.
Mest av alt bare for at det var en lettere prosess med veiledning gjennom hele systemet. For når man først ser på for eksempel skolen til hjemmesiden av skole, så kan det være veldig overveldende og vanskelig å navigere. Og sånne småting som det blir veiledet gjennom.
Og jeg må nevne det, ikke minst så er du i du er rundt folk som vil det samme som deg, og det er veldig utrolig gøy å være rundt folk. Du kan diskutere hvilken skole du vil på, hvorfor du ønsker å gå på den skolen, ja, det veldig utrolig å være rundt folk som ønsker det samme som deg.
Okay, so probably a lot of people are curious about what the whole school year is here, what it's like, because you do 1 year here, and then you finish your degree in the US. A lot of people sometimes think this might just be like an extension of high school and the credits don't go to the US with you. Could, Amalia, do you want to talk about the year in general at ACN and what it helps you do? The activities you can get involved in, the classes you can take. Just because a lot of these people probably are like, they Google ACN, they read about it, they're kind of confused because it's a completely different system than the Norwegian system.
På ACN da så foregår alt som om du hadde gått på et amerikansk college. Eneste forskjellen jo at vi I Moss. Det en mye mindre skole enn det du kommer til å gå på I USA da. Fagene du tar her, de blir med deg til USA. Og I løpet av en amerikansk bachelor så må man ha så mange general electives. Og de noen av de fagene som du får dekket her I Moss da. Så de følger med deg, og når du kommer, sånn som for min del, når jeg reiser til USA, så har jeg kun de fagene jeg må ta for å fullføre bacheloren min I statene da. Fordi jeg har dekket alle de generelle fagene her I Moss. Ellers så det, vi feirer alle amerikanske tradisjoner som Halloween og Thanksgiving, og vi har Spring Formal, det hadde vi nettopp nå for å avslutte skoleåret. Vi har også klubber man kan være med I, som veldig amerikansk.
Do you want to maybe talk about how getting involved has helped you specifically with getting scholarships for the US? Because you were just awarded a scholarship, and talk about the scholarships that are possibly available for students.
Mange skoler og mange scholarships som man kan søke på, de krever at man har vært frivillig eller deltatt I forskjellige klubber på skolene da. Og sånn som jeg har vært med I 2 klubber som vi har på skolen. Og dette hjalp meg da nå når jeg fikk scholarship å kunne snakke om det, fordi jeg har fått jeg har vært leder I en av klubbene, og det har hjulpet meg veldig, og deltatt mye på frivillig arbeid I den andre klubben, og da det lettere å søke på forskjellige scholarships, og det en ting som veldig positivt, og det ikke så vanlig I Norge å drive med sånne ting da, så du får dekket det også her på ACN.
Okay, so I wanted to say thank you to one of our current students from UND that's studying abroad with us, Natalie, thank you. She reposted a question that someone asked that we missed because these questions keep coming in, but they only stay on the screen for a few seconds. So if you have a question, type it again so we can see it. But Natalie's reposted the question was, what is the GPA needed to get into ACN? And I think I'm going to have Becky come over here to explain the application process and what we're looking for with applications here at ACN.
Det et spørsmål som veldig mange lurer på. Hva karaktersnitt jeg må ha for å få opptak på ACN? Men American Universities, de ser på mer enn bare karakterer. Vi ser på en blanding av karakterer, hvordan du har gjort det på videregående eller på høyskole, hvis du har gått litt på høyskole I tillegg. Men vi også interessert I din motivasjon. Hvorfor vil du til USA? Hvorfor vil du studere hos oss, for eksempel? Så din motivasjon og karakterer det vi ser på. Så vi sier at hvis du ligger rundt 4 I snitt og skriver en bra motivasjonsbrev, så ser vi veldig positivt på søknaden. Men hvis du ligger litt under 4 og skriver en veldig overbevisende motivasjonsbrev, så vil opptakskommentaren være også veldig positivt. Men det ikke bare karakterer, så har du gode karakterer, så må du fortsatt overbevise komiteen at du vil dette her. Så vi ser på begge deler.
Any more questions? Please type them. But I have a question for all of these students then. A simple question. And you're going to each answer it. Why would you tell people planning to go to the US to come to ACN first? Vibeke, go first.
Okay. Well, you know,
Det går bra. Vi kan snakke norsk eller engelsk.
Jeg vil si at du får en ting I fagene. Du får ta viktige fag her I Norge. Og siden det så liten skole, så får du ekstra hjelp i forhold til å gå på et universitet der du sitter i auditorium med flere, eller opp mot 1000 andre elever. Så her får du individuell hjelp. Og i tillegg så får du forbedre engelsken din, og det vil jeg si er veldig, de har hjulpet meg veldig.
Takk. Okay, Amalia, why should people come to ACN and not just go to the US?
Overgangen blir veldig mye lettere. Når man er vant til det norske systemet, og da skulle hoppe rett inn på en amerikansk skole og skifte om alt, så kan det bli veldig overveldende. Og å da få en mye mykere overgang her på ACN, det har hjulpet veldig.
And Song, why would you come to ACN and not just go to the US right away? What have we done this year with you? How have you transitioned? How are you gonna feel more prepared for the US because you came to ACN?
Det jeg tenker mest på da er planlegging. Konstant planlegging. Du legger foran deg det du skal gjøre i et arbeidsmiljø som tillater deg til å vokse. Og hvis man bare skulle dratt rett over, så burde du kaste veldig ut i det, mens her sånn, så får du muligheten til å planlegge langsiktig hva du skal gjøre til den som helst tid. Jeg tror det er den forberedelsesdelen som ACN har som en stor fordel.
And Christina, what would you add to that?
Egentlig ikke så mye. Annet enn at i tillegg til at det er en enkel overgang og at det er greit å få bruke året til å planlegge, så får du også en invitasjon til de amerikanske tradisjoner og hvordan de gjør det på skolen, sånn som komité og klubber. Det får vi bli introdusert til her, og vi får oppleve alt av tradisjoner. Og det, i tillegg til at det er en så myk overgang, så er det veldig positivt for ACN.
Alle har snakket om planlegging, og for å forklare hvorfor planlegging er så viktig. Norge har 26 universiteter og høyskoler. Det er veldig enkelt å få overgang over mulighetene. USA har godt over 5000 forskjellige universiteter, og hver eneste skole kommer til å ha sin egen opptakskrav og søknadsprosess. Det krever litt planlegging. Hvordan skal jeg velge et universitet som er riktig for meg? Jo, det tar planlegging. Det tar tid. 5000 skoler, det er jo kjempespennende å ha muligheten å velge blant de. Men hva er kanskje 5 til 10 som er riktig for hver enkelte? Og når de har først da funnet ut hvor de skal søke, hvordan søker de da? Fordi dere har søkt på flere skoler, og alle de skolene har hatt forskjellige prosedyrene. Det, når du skal gjøre det alene, kan være overveldende. Men vi på skolen er her for å hjelpe dere planlegge og jobbe systematisk, så de bruker det hele året på å ta et godt valg.
Ja, og angående det, jeg ante ikke hvilken skole jeg ønsket å gå på i USA. Jeg visste bare jeg ville til USA. ACN har uten tvil hjulpet meg å finne den rette skolen for meg. Og jeg tror uten ACN så hadde det vært veldig vanskelig å finne det selv.
Another thing I wanted to point out, they talked about some of the organizations and clubs on campus, and in the US, obviously people do a lot more than studying. They get involved and they do various things on campus that really help with leadership skills, and we really try to help these students be fully prepared for the US. And one reason we're here on a Sunday is because at 1 o'clock we're going to the beach here in Moss, and we're going to be cleaning up garbage, because that's part of one of the clubs here called the Peace Committee, which Becky is the advisor for. And these students are in, and many other ACNers just join in because it's a fun opportunity to hang out with your friends, also helping out the community. And we help the students obviously with their applications. If they've been involved, if they have any questions about how they can really stand out as an applicant, we of course help them. And for example, Rebecca, she's been involved in numerous activities at ACN. And when she was applying for schools, she just had questions about adding up hours of clubs and titles. And she didn't realize that some of the clubs and things she did, just like taking students around campus if they were just visiting, would be a student ambassador. So these clubs and organizations, I think, are really instrumental towards the success and really get you prepared for the US. Would you agree?
Yeah, definitely.
Everyone here actually has been involved in an organization. So Christina has been the editor of the yearbook, and she's also an secretary in the activities committee, which is the committee that helps plan on-campus events. And then we have Amalia, also editor of the yearbook, and she's in the Peace Committee. Song is in the Activities Committee with me. Rebecca is in the Peace Committee. She's a student ambassador. She's also helped with the Activities Committee first semester. So ACN is so small, but there's so many opportunities for you to really get involved. And I do see we have a question coming in. And one of the questions is, does anyone have the intention of staying in the U.S. to work after college? And if so, how did your parents take the news? So that's a fantastic question. I think let's maybe answer that question in English, seeing the question was written in English. But maybe, Becky, you could explain the system in the U.S. about OTP?
Yeah.
OPT?
First of all, I came to Norway as a student and ended up staying, so it happens. But most of our students, most of our Norwegians that go to the US, they do end up coming home, but it's not uncommon that they don't stay for maybe a year or two after they've completed their studies. You have the right to stay for optional practical training, I think is what that stands for, OPT. As part of your student visa after you've completed your bachelor's degree. So you can stay in the United States for 1 year to work. But then you have to come home or you have to apply for a residence permit in the United States. Totally happens. I don't know what you four are thinking. It's hard to plan those kind of things, but it is not impossible. And my parents, getting to the parents part, think it's really fun that I live in Norway because then they get to come to Norway every year. But anyone have any particular plans to stay in the US?
Jeg har veldig lyst, men jeg har ikke fortalt foreldrene mine om det. Fordi jeg er redd for, de synes kanskje 3 år i USA er lenge, siden vi tar første året her i Norge. Men jeg tror at tiden vil vise.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But I think these students in general, they haven't even got to the US. They're super excited about going, but I think once they get to the US and they get integrated in the system and American culture, they'll probably learn more about it, and maybe they'll want to stay. Maybe they'll want to come back here and do a master's to add to their degrees. Maybe they'll want to do a master's over there. It really depends because they still have 3 more years in the US, so they do the first year here and then 3 more in the US.
But did any of your parents have any objections to studying in the US?
I mean, my parents they weren't happy about it, but they want to support me. So when I told them that I wanted to study in the US, they were okay with it. And they're looking forward coming to visit.
Yeah.
Amalia?
Yeah, it was the same.
Yeah?
They were kind of worried about the financial part of it,
Mm-hmm.
but they wanted to be supportive, so I just told them that, well, I'm going to the US.
Yeah.
So,
Did you want to actually touch on the financial part of it? Because I don't know if many of you know, but we have 8 partner schools in the United States. And what that means is when you come to ACN and when you successfully complete the program, you will directly get accepted to those schools if you apply to them. The application process is a lot easier because you're in the American system, because you already did your first year, and your transcript will be coming from our partner school, University of North Dakota. You'll learn more about that if you come here, but these partner schools a lot of times will give you scholarships for being a student from ACN and for having high academics or for being in committees, various things. I know that Amalia is going to the University of North Dakota, which has a special discount for ACN students. But on top of that, she has scholarships coming in left and right, which is making it really affordable and really against the stereotype that the United States is beyond expensive to study in. I know everyone here probably has heard that rumor that the US is so expensive to study at, but what Becky said, there's 5,000 some schools in the US and there's 5,000 different price points. So
It's easy to find the expensive schools. They're often the ones that first come up on your Google search. But the US is so much bigger than that, and that's what we spend a lot of time looking at. What are you comfortable paying, and how can you find the perfect school for you academically and personally, but also financially? and where those 3 points meet is usually a really good fit for students. And there's a lot of scholarship opportunities, so it's very seldom that students actually pay the full price that they'll see on a university's website. But without being very used to the system or comfortable navigating it, it can be hard for students on their own to know that, but that's why we're here to help you find out what are those affordable schools. Where have students from ACN gone in the past? We're celebrating 25 years of sending students to from Norway to the US, and that's thousands and thousands of alumni. And so we have a pretty good idea of affordable, good schools that have been good matches for students in the past. And we put our students in contact with those past alumni when it works. So it doesn't have to be too expensive is basically the moral of that story.
We got a lot of waves from people, past students waving. Hi everyone. We also have waves and loves and hearts from current students, but I also wanted to give a big shout out because I see some of these usernames and I know that you guys came to our open house and some of you have been following us for a while. So thank you for tuning in. We're gonna have a few more minutes before we have to get going and clean up the beach and be great citizens of the world. But if you have any other questions, just write them down here and we can do our best to answer them. But if you don't have a question, maybe you have one later on, send us a DM. We would be more than happy to answer it and we can get you the right answer if we don't know it off the top of our heads. So any last questions, type them in here. But one other question I wanted to ask was, what is it like studying here in Moss? Amalia, coming all the way from Bergen, you came down here to Moss, and explain what it's like studying in this smaller town. How's your experience been? Norska.
Jeg liker meg veldig godt i Moss. Det en relativt liten by, og da så kan man jo gå til alt. Det veldig masse koselige kaféer og veldig enkelt å komme seg rundt. Så jeg trives veldig godt da. Jeg vet ikke om noen andre...
Jeg tenker været, og jeg antar du også enig. Nå er fra Bergen, jeg fra Stavanger. Og været det helt fantastisk å se så mye sol. Ja. Og generelt mye varmere her. Og i tillegg må vi si at det nærmer Oslo. 40 minutts togtur til Oslo. Og utrolig gøy å gå der i helgene, i ferier, eller ukedagene, hvis du ønsker det.
One thing I wanted to point out too, if you've been following our Instagram, you've probably seen that we do a lot of school trips. We have travel courses for college credits, so we recently went to London. Some of these students went. And then we also have a travel course to Svalbard. So that's planned for the fall, and that's college credit with an instructor. So you go there and you travel and you learn about the Arctic. In London, we learned about the arts. But on Friday, there aren't classes. So your classes are Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. And on Friday, a lot of times what we've tried to do at ACN is plan activities because a lot of these students are coming from Bergen, Trondheim, Bodø, Tromsø, all over Norway, and they don't go home on the weekends, they stay here, but we want to make sure that there's activities for them to do. So we easily plan art exhibits that we visit. We just recently were at the new National Museum in Oslo that's being built, and we had a private tour of that. And then we've also done day trips to Oslo to visit various museums, and all of that stuff is incorporated into the curriculum, so that's been things they've been learning about in class. And then we also just sometimes go places for fun. I know these girls, sometimes for fun you'll just go to Fredrikstad with some, and it's really cool because we have Americans coming from the United States studying abroad. And the Americans want to do things, and when you put these Norwegians together with the Americans, that the Norwegians are from northern Norway or west, so it's a whole new territory for them, and they haven't been to some places in Østfold or in Oslo, so they go together and travel. We have students that were just in Stockholm this weekend, American students and Norwegian students traveling together, because that's one of the great things about no classes on Fridays, is it allows you to create friendships and bonds and travel and really go to the US with this strong network of friendships that evolved from ACN.
We had a question that came in asking how hard is it to find off-campus housing? It's not that hard. We have students in the past find apartments that they've shared with other ACN students. But can we talk maybe a little bit about the difference between living on and off campus? Living on campus is, first of all, our housing is really, really nice student housing. It's apartment style housing. Most people, the vast majority, have their own bedroom and just share a bathroom and a kitchen and a living space with one other student. And it's, how long does it take you to get down to the school from here? A minute? Yeah, it's really close, and that makes a 9 a.m. morning class a lot easier to get to than if you had to come in from Oslo or from the other side of town on a cold January morning. So, but also there's a very interesting campus life that happens. There's that real dorm feeling where people leave their doors open and people, you know, go in and out, and it's very social. People who live on campus tend to get to know each other better. But those who have reasons for wanting to live off campus, we encourage them to do so if that fits their needs better, but also we really try to get them to be as involved with on-campus activity as possible, because it is, like Nick said, those friendships that you make, this is an important year for many of the students, and taking those friends with them further in their life, but also in their studies in the US can be a real positive aspect of going here.
I do have one thing I wanted to say before we close this, but we do have a question that just came in from T. Brata. Hi. Hope you're having a good Sunday. Fantastic question. It says, if you're applying to another school that is not a partner school, what are the grades they're looking at? Is this from high school or is this from ACN or both?
That's a great question. That's a question we get a lot. You're not going to have enough academic history with just one semester at ACN, because when you're going to be applying to schools, it's either going to be in the end of that fall semester, because there are deadlines as early as November, December, but if you're applying, most deadlines are going to be in January, February, March, and you're only going to have one semester of grades from ACN completed, and that's not enough depth academic history for schools to consider most of the time. And so even our partner schools, they're going to take a look at your high school grade average. But what I always say is, if you've done okay in high school, but then you really excel at ACN, that's going to show your new school that you're applying to growth, and that you really thrive in the American system. If you didn't do so well in high school and you do really well at ACN, it's also going to show that this is a student worth taking a chance on. And if you did good in high school and you do good here, you're showing consistency. So your high school grades are going to be important, both for your application to ACN, but also for your applications going forward. But it's never going to be just about your grades. American schools are more concerned with understanding who are you as a person and what kind of person are you going to be on their college campus. So all you can do with your grades is work as hard as you can and do the best that you can. But just to know that in the US, you have more to show than just your grade point average, which is a real advantage. So good question. Very good question. And these have been fantastic questions coming in. Like I said, if you have any questions after this, just send a DM to us. But one thing I wanted to do to end this is I wanted to talk about how when you come to ACN, you might not know anybody, and it is quite scary to be thinking that you might be going to the US alone. But one thing that's quite cool is Amalia and Christina were roommates, and they actually became best friends here at ACN, and they're both going to University of North Dakota. And then we have Rebecca over here. She came to ACN not knowing anyone, and she met one of her best friends now, Pia, and they're actually going to St. Thomas together, and Song is going to St. Thomas. So there's a great network that's already there, plus Americans that have studied here from schools like Westchester or Adelphi or University of North Dakota. They're back at those universities, and they're going to be there to welcome them. I know you're planning to spend Thanksgiving with one of the Americans that was here last fall studying abroad with us. So that's one of the great things about ACN is when you come here, you might not know anyone, but slowly but surely you make great connections and friendships. And those friendships really help when you get to the US, because when you get off that plane, you have people that probably are there to pick you up at the airport, and you have people that are going to take you home
for Easter, for Thanksgiving, and you're going to be able to travel throughout the U.S. So that's one of the highlights, I think, of ACN as well, too.
Just to reiterate, our students could go anywhere they want. We do have our partner schools, that's a real advantage to have, but our students can and do go to any university in the United States that they choose to apply to and they're accepted to. And as the advisor here, a lot of my time is spent helping students find the right fit. If it's one of the partner schools and that is exciting for you, fine, great, excellent. We would love to keep in really good contact with you, but our students are in all 50 states. They are everywhere, and we are just happy that they find the school that's right for them.
And one thing to point out with that too, because we've been around for 25 years, we have students that have gone to schools throughout the whole United States. Meaning if you're coming here and you're curious about going to, let's say, Madison, or you're interested in going to UCLA, various schools throughout the US, because we have an extensive network, we're able to write to past students and get you in contact with them to answer more questions about what it's like to be a student there from their perspective. So that's one thing we really love to help our students with too, is connecting the alumni with the current students.
We would love to see you here at ACN. It's a great place to be. It's a good year. And we're proud of our students. Our students do good things. We're always sad when we send them off, but we're always excited to welcome the new classes. Sorry guys, but there will be people after you, and we're excited to get to know them too.
But yeah, make sure that if you're planning to come here for fall 2018, send your applications in ASAP, because the sooner you apply, the sooner we can evaluate your application and let you know if you're admitted. And May 1st is the priority deadline. So just go to americancollege.no. The link to apply is in the Instagram bio. And you can fill out the online application. It's very simple. And then you have to write a letter of motivation. All of what we talked about today, the importance of getting involved or why you want to go to the US, that's really instrumental in that application letter, the letter of motivation. And then you have to send in your documents, so your transcript from high school and...
If you're still currently in high school and you're not done until the middle of June, then go ahead and send in your karakterutskrift from your first and second year and the first half of your third year. If you have, go ahead and just send those in Norwegian. And then when you are done with high school, we'll need you to send in your vitnemål in Norwegian and in English. And the English translation you should be able to get with no problem from your high school. If you have a problem getting your English translation, send me an email and I will write to your school. But your school should be able to provide those for you. We get a lot of questions about that. If you're already finished, go ahead and send in your vitnemål now. Otherwise, send in your karakterutskrift, and then we'll just wait for the vitnemål when you're finished.
Perfect. I wanted to thank these students for coming in on a Sunday. They could have slept a little longer before going to the beach, but they didn't. Thank you. But also, I wanted to point out, we had tons of people tune in, and this, I think, was a great success, so thank you. But for all the Americans or people from other countries thinking of doing a semester or a year abroad, doing their study abroad at ACN, I'm going to be working on planning one of these Instagram lives as well, so you can ask your various questions about what it's like to be an American student studying abroad here at ACN. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you soon. And this will go up in our story, so you can rewatch this multiple times. And thank you.
Bye.